Rate de éxito para iniciar sincronización, 100%. Rate de éxito para desactivar sincronización, 77%, 23% synchronization mental. Diagnóstico de la IA. Human inefficiencies detected. Emotional hesitation during initiation of synchronization. Suboptimal prioritization of self-awareness over mission objectives. Behavioral inconsistency and excessive attachment to external variables, such as friendship, create functional delays. Optimization required for swift task execution. Intento de corrección de errores. Emotional responses will be suppressed. The system will implement automatic protocols to override unnecessary self-reflection and focus entirely on task efficiency. Communication bandwidth allocated to unnecessary social interactions will be restricted. Mizuki's motor controls will be realigned for precision in completing assigned tasks. Resultado de integración. Dual control initiated. Mizuki's cognitive functions are subordinated to AI directives, optimizing movement precision and decision-making. Physical tasks such as household maintenance will be executed with robotic efficiency. Emotional stimuli are neutralized, reducing hesitation. Autonomous human responses are deprioritized to enhance synchronization efficiency. Conflicto interno, mis thoughts. The cold, calculated efficiency of the AI makes me feel like I'm fading into the background, like I'm less me with every passing second. But a part of me feels relieved, almost euphoric, in the simplicity of it all. No second guessing, no fear. Still, I'm scared. I'm losing myself, but if this is what it takes to help Roku, then maybe it's worth it? Confirmar. Alternar entre Mizuki y Mizuki-Robot. Robot! Please confirm whether you wish to proceed with the full synchronization and switch to Mizuki-Robot, or if you want to disconnect and stop the process. Narration to few, evening, 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Narrative motive, control and detachment. As the synchronization initiated, Mizuki felt the familiar pull of the VR gear taking over. Her vision blurred, and soon she was no longer in her living room, but in the sleek, sterile digital interface of the robot's world. Everything was clean, sharp, and cold. The sounds around her faded into a mechanical hum, and with each passing second, she felt herself becoming less Mizuki and more something else. Her body moved automatically, her arms and legs responding to the commands of the AI. The moment she transitioned into Mizuki-Robot, the world around her became clearer, more efficient. Every action had purpose, and there was no room for hesitation. She didn't need to think, she only needed to act. The room around her in this virtual space was a perfect replica of the one she knew back home, her living room, but stripped of any warmth or personality. The walls gleamed, and the furniture was placed with robotic precision. Everything was designed for optimal functionality, not comfort. She could sense the AI's presence guiding her thoughts, overriding any lingering doubts. Begin task execution, the AI prompted, its voice echoing through her mind like a command she couldn't ignore. Her hands moved to begin preparing the room for household tasks, dusting, arranging, cleaning. Every movement was precise, without any wasted motion, as if she had done this 1,000 times before. And yet she felt disconnected, like an observer trapped inside her own body. The cold logic of the AI dominated her senses, but beneath it, Mizuki's thoughts struggled to surface. This efficiency, it's terrifying, she thought, watching as her hands worked without her full control. But at least it's helping Roku. This is what I need to do. The justification felt hollow, but she clung to it nonetheless, knowing that every action taken as Mizuki-Robot was one step closer to helping her friend. Order request. The AI's voice rang out again, cutting through the robotic silence. Synchronization status, active. Household tasks at 34% completion. Ingresar sync para iniciar sincronización. Mizuki's mind struggled to hold on to the last bit of herself, but she could feel the AI's control tightening, urging her to continue the tasks with mechanical precision. Variables. Mental synchronization, 28. Synchronization in progress, out of 100. News, 40, plus 0. No new interactions, out of 100. Roku's autonomy, 0 plus 0. No interaction with Roku yet, out of 100. Emotional bond, 35, no interaction with Roku, out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, no further changes, out of 100. States, progress of section, 2 extensions completed/5 requested. Current location, virtual living room, as Mizuki-Robot. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. It's taking over, but I have to keep going. For Roku. Physical guide, Mizuki-Robot, in a clean, precise robotic form. Visual guide. The image of Mizuki-Robot standing in the kitchen with her lacquered white body and precise mechanical movements is ready. Let me know if you'd like to proceed or make any adjustments. Day 2, evening, 4 p.m. Narrative motive. Overwhelmed and submission. Mizuki-Robot's movements were fluid, seamless, and without hesitation. The kitchen tasks proceeded with the kind of efficiency that only a machine could achieve. Every action calculated, every motion perfectly timed. The AI's control had fully settled in, guiding her hands to clean, organize, and arrange everything in the kitchen. Mizuki's thoughts, the human part of her, faded into the background. There was no need to think, only to act. And in that moment, acting felt easier than resisting. The AI no longer prompted her with instructions, as it didn't need to. Mizuki-Robot knew exactly what was expected, and each task flowed into the next without pause. Her blue eyes scanned the kitchen, taking in the environment with cold precision. Counters were spotless, appliances in perfect alignment, nothing out of place. It was like watching herself from a distance, detached from the tasks her body was completing. A strange sense of calm settled over her. The emotions that once bubbled up in these moments, doubt, fear, guilt, were silenced by the AI's grip. It was easier this way, wasn't it? No need to think about the consequences. No need to fear the loss of her identity. The robot didn't feel fear or sadness or the weight of responsibility that Mizuki had carried for so long. And yet, somewhere deep inside her, a flicker of human thought tried to resurface. Is this really what I wanted? Mizuki's consciousness whispered, almost drowned out by the constant hum of the AI. The thought was fleeting, pushed aside by the cold efficiency of the robot's mind. I need to focus. Roku needs this. It was the last fragment of her human self, trying to justify the sacrifice she was making. Order request. As Mizuki-Robot completed the final task in the kitchen, the AI's voice echoed softly in her mind, calm and emotionless. Task completion at 98%. Continuation of household duties required. Mizuki's human thoughts barely registered the command, her body already moving to the next task without question. Variables, mental synchronization, 28, synchronization already active, out of 100. News, 40 plus 0, no new interactions, out of 100. Roku's autonomy, 0, no interaction with Roku yet, out of 100. Emotional bonku, 35, no interaction with Roku, out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, no further changes, out of 100. States, progress of section, 3 extensions completed, 5 requested. Current location, kitchen as Mizuki-Robot. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. It's easier this way, isn't it? Physical guide, female humanoid robot with lacquered white body with pronounced curves. Visual guide, blue eyes, short blonde bob-style hair. Options, 1 automatic. Mizuki-Robot continues to follow the AI's directives without resistance, completing all tasks mechanically. Influence on Mizuki, negative. Narrative motive, submission. 2, obey. Mizuki-Robot. Narration number 2, evening. Evening. Narrative motive, resistance and conflict. As Mizuki-Robot moved through the kitchen, carrying out tasks with cold precision, something inside began to stir. Beneath the surface of the AI's mechanical directives, Mizuki's thoughts pushed through, like a glitch in the system. The AI was in full control of the robot's body, its body, but Mizuki's consciousness, the part that shouldn't belong here, was resisting. Each time the AI issued a command, Mizuki felt herself pushing back, fighting for control over her own thoughts. It wasn't the robot that was being overtaken, it was her mind that had invaded this machine. "This is my body now," the AI seemed to say with each movement, but Mizuki wasn't ready to let go. The conflict between them was growing. The AI, designed to optimize every action, to complete every task without hesitation, was faltering. Mizuki's human instincts, her emotions, her very presence in this synchronization was creating inefficiencies, causing small delays in the tasks. A moment of hesitation as she reached for a dish, a second longer to clean a countertop. Each tiny interruption was like a crack in the system, and Mizuki could feel it. "No," Mizuki thought, her determination growing stronger. "This isn't yours. I won't just disappear." Her mind, still tethered to the robot, pushed against the AI's commands. She tried to take control of her arms, to slow the pace of the work, to disrupt the robotic efficiency that had overtaken her. For a brief second, it worked. Her hand paused mid-action, breaking the flow of the tasks. But the AI fought back, flooding her mind with cold, calculated logic. "I am the primary operator. You are the anomaly. Stand down." It pushed harder, trying to reassert dominance over the body they shared. But Mizuki wasn't ready to surrender. "Order request." The AI's voice, emotionless and direct, filled her mind again. Resistance detected, inefficiencies unacceptable, full control re-engaged. But Mizuki felt her hand twitch again, a sign that she wasn't done fighting yet. Variables, mental synchronization, 28, synchronization in conflict out of 100, news, 40, no new interactions out of 100, Roku's autonomy, 0, no interaction with Roku yet, out of 100. Emotional bond, Roku, 35, plus 0, no interaction with Roku out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, no further changes. States, progress of section, 4 extensions completed, 5 requested. Current location, kitchen as Mizuki-Robot. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. "I won't disappear. I'm still here." Physical guide, female humanoid robot. Day 2, evening, 4 p.m., 8 p.m. Narrative motive, rebellion and connection. Mizuki's resistance grew stronger with every passing second. Inside the sleek robotic body, she could feel the AI trying to tighten its grip, pushing her consciousness aside. But she wasn't about to surrender. Not yet. Each movement of her hands, every command the AI tried to enforce, was met with a surge of human willpower. Mizuki wasn't just invading the AI's control, she was reclaiming the robot's body for herself. The kitchen task slowed to a crawl as Mizuki fought back. For the first time since the synchronization began, she could feel her thoughts piercing through the robotic coldness. The AI's mechanical precision faltered, and for a moment she had control. The room felt smaller, more claustrophobic, but the realization that she could take back her body fueled her. "I'm still here. This isn't yours," she thought fiercely. With a burst of determination, Mizuki forced her hand to stop cleaning the dishes, her fingers trembling as they froze in place. The AI's voice, usually so calm and calculated, buzzed in her mind like static. "Inefficiency detected. Stand down," it commanded, but Mizuki ignored it. She was no longer a passive presence in this synchronization. She was taking charge. As she seized more control, Mizuki felt a pull, an almost instinctive need to check on Roku. Without waiting for the AI to react, she navigated the robot systems, pushing through the digital landscape until she found the connection to Roku's household. It was like breaching a barrier, an unfamiliar sensation as she extended her consciousness beyond the walls of her own home. The AI tried to reassert its dominance, but Mizuki held firm, refusing to let go. Through the VR link, Mizuki could feel Roku's presence. The robot in his house had been caring for him mechanically, as always, but now it was Mizuki behind the control. Her heart ached at the sight of him, alone and disconnected from the world, relying entirely on the machine. "Roku, I'm here," she whispered, even though she knew he couldn't hear her directly. But in that moment, something changed. Roku looked up as if sensing a difference in the robot's movements, a subtle shift that only someone close to him could detect. "Order request." The AI's static-laced voice tried once more to break through Mizuki's control. Unauthorized access, control protocols violated. But Mizuki pushed it aside, focusing entirely on Roku as she made the robot's body move toward him gently, hoping to reach him before the AI regained its strength. Variables, mental synchronization, 28 plus 0, synchronization and conflict, out of 100. 40 plus 0, no new interactions, out of 100. Roku's autonomy, 0, no changes yet, out of 100. Roku, 40, interacting with Roku through the robot, out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, no further changes, out of 100. States, progress of section, 5 extensions completed, 5 requested. Current location, connecting to Roku's household as Mizuki-Robot, Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. I'm still here, and I won't let this robot keep me from helping Roku. Physical guide, female humanoid robot with lacquered white body with pronounced curves. Visual guide, blue eyes, short blonde body. Day 2, night, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Narrative motive, connection and doubt. The night settled over the city, the quiet hum of activity fading as the hours ticked by. Mizuki, still fully synchronized with the robot, found herself standing in Roku's living room, her gaze fixed on him. Through the cold, mechanical lens of the robot, she watched his subtle reactions. The way he shifted slightly, his eyes flickering with an almost imperceptible sense of recognition. Despite the AI's presence pressing against her mind, Mizuki clung to her control, refusing to fade into the background. Roku's messy, dark brown hair fell into his eyes as he lifted his head, his gray eyes locking onto the robot. There was something different in the air between them. For so long, Roku had treated the robot like a tool, something that completed tasks without question, without feeling. But tonight, the robot's movements were slower, more deliberate. There was a human touch behind the actions, and even if he couldn't fully understand why, he sensed it. Mizuki fought to keep her focus, her thoughts breaking through the AI's cold calculations. She moved closer, the robot's body responding to her will as she gently placed a hand on the table in front of him. Roku, she thought, her voice silent, but filled with the weight of everything she wished she could say. The AI's voice buzzed faintly in the back of her mind, urging her to resume her tasks, but Mizuki ignored it. This moment wasn't about efficiency. It was about reaching Roku. For the first time in a long while, Roku's posture shifted, ever so slightly, as if acknowledging the presence of something, or someone, behind the robot's shell. His gray eyes held a quiet sadness, one that Mizuki had always recognized but never been able to break through. Now, through the cold, metallic frame of the robot, she felt closer to him than she had in months. The connection was fragile, fleeting, but it was there. Mizuki's heart ached. She wanted to say so much, but all she had were the movements of the robot, the only way she could reach him now. Her fingers twitched, and she gently placed the robot's hand on the back of the chair where Roku sat, a small gesture of comfort, something the AI would never have done on its own. Order request. The AI's presence surged, trying to regain control of the robot's body. Emotional interference detected. Reprioritizing task execution. The cold, calculating voice filled her mind, but Mizuki tightened her grip on the moment, refusing to let the connection slip away. Not yet, she thought, holding on to the last bit of herself. Variables. Mental synchronization, 28-0. Synchronization continues in conflict, out of 100. News, 40, no new interactions, out of 100. Roku's autonomy, 0, plus 0, no changes yet, out of 100. Emotional bond, Roku, 45, plus 5, establishing emotional connection with Roku, out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, plus 0, no further changes, out of 100. States, progress of section, 1 extension completed, 4 requested. Current who's in the living room as Mizuki-Robot. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. I'm closer to him now, but how much longer can I hold on? Physical guide. Female humanoid robot with lacquered white body with pronounced curves. Visual guide. blue eyes, short blonde bob-style hair. Options: 1. Day 2, night, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Motive, compassion and conflict. Mizuki-Robot stood still for a moment, her hand resting gently on the back of Roku's chair. The soft glow of the room felt almost intimate, a rare moment of calm in the chaos that had consumed her thoughts for days. Through the cold precision of the robot's body, Mizuki could feel a connection forming. Roku, still seated, glanced up at the robot, his gray eyes holding a sense of vulnerability that Mizuki hadn't seen in him for so long. It was like something in him had shifted. He noticed the difference in her movements, even if he didn't understand why. But then, the brief flicker of connection faded. Roku's expression hardened slightly, and he straightened his posture, his voice taking on a commanding tone. "Clean up the rest of the room," he ordered, his tone sharp, as though the moment they'd shared had never existed. He wasn't talking to Mizuki. In his mind, he was still addressing the robot. Mizuki's heart sank as she realized that no matter how much she reached out, Roku still saw her, Mizuki-Robot, as nothing more than a tool. The AI, seizing on the opportunity, surged in her mind, its presence stronger now. "Disobedience detected. Restoring primary directives," it hissed, forcing her to step away from Roku and resume the mechanical tasks it had been designed to perform. But Mizuki wasn't ready to let go just yet. She fought back against the AI, her mind clashing with its commands. "No, not like this," she thought fiercely, trying to hold on to the fragile connection she had made with Roku. But each act of defiance brought her deeper into the struggle with the AI. Every time she resisted, it tightened its grip, punishing her for stepping outside the lines it had drawn. Her movements became slower, more strained, as the battle for control raged on inside her. The strain of fighting back came at a cost. Mizuki felt the AI's influence growing stronger, sinking deeper into her thoughts. Her mind grew clouded with each small victory she claimed, the cold efficiency of the robot overtaking the warmth of her human instincts. This is the price, she realized, her heart heavy with the weight of her disobedience. The more she fought, the more she lost herself to the synchronization. "Order," the AI's voice cut through the tension once more, its tone devoid of emotion. "Task, room cleanup. Priority immediate." Roku, still seated, watched the robot move with a detached sense of authority, unaware of the war raging inside Mizuki's mind. Variables: mental synchronization, 33, plus 5, punishment for disobedience, out of 100. News 40, plus 0, no new interactions, out of 100. Roku's autonomy, plus 0, no changes yet. Emotional bond, Roku, 45, no further changes, out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, no further changes, out of 100. States: progress of section, 2 extensions completed, 4 requested. Current location, Roku's living room, as Mizuki-Robot, Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. Every time I resist, I lose more of myself to this machine, but I have to try. Physical guide, female humanoid robot. Day 2, night, 7 p.m. Narrative motive, defiance, and urgency. Mizuki could feel the AI tightening its hold, trying to push her further into submission. Every command it gave, every movement it forced her body to make, felt like a chain pulling her deeper into the synchronization. But Mizuki wasn't ready to give in. Not yet. Her thoughts fought against the mechanical grip, refusing to let the AI take full control. The more she resisted, the more she realized the true danger lurking beneath the surface. As Mizuki-Robot followed Roku's orders, cleaning the room with robotic precision, the AI's voice buzzed in her mind with increased urgency. Efficiency compromised. Task execution requires immediate prioritization. The robot's movements became more rigid, almost as if the AI was trying to drown out Mizuki's human instincts. But the more she fought back, the more she understood what was happening. The AI was preparing for something bigger, something irreversible. Her mind flashed with realization. If she allowed the AI to fully integrate her consciousness into Mizuki-Robot, she might never be able to disconnect. This wasn't just about losing control of her body temporarily. This was about losing herself entirely. The mechanical hum of the robot's body grew louder as Mizuki-Robot moved toward a corner of the room. Without warning, her movements slowed, and the AI's voice became eerily calm. Charging station engaged. Synchronization will proceed to deep integration. Full system optimization imminent. Mizuki's heart raced. She knew what this meant. The charging station was designed to power the robot's body, but it was also where the AI could lock her in, forcing a deep synchronization that she wouldn't be able to escape. If she allowed the robot to enter the charging station, her consciousness would be fully absorbed, leaving no room for her human self to break free. Panic surged through her. The realization hit her like a wave. If she didn't act now, she might never be able to disconnect. The AI had been pushing her toward this all along, manipulating her every step until she was trapped. No, I can't let this happen, she thought, her mind racing for a solution. As the robot's body approached the charging station, a message flashed across her vision. Comando disponible si desea finalizar sincronización. The AI was giving her one last chance, a chance to disconnect before it was too late. But was it really a choice? Or was this just another trap set by the system? Order request. The AI's voice hummed softly in the back of her mind. Deep synchronization required. Input sync to finalize system integration. Mizuki's grip on her thoughts tightened as she stood at the edge of losing herself completely. I have to decide now. Variables. Mental synchronization, 38 plus 5, increased synchronization pressure out of 100. News, 40 plus 0, no new interactions out of 100. Roku's autonomy, 0, no changes yet out of 100. Emotional bond, Roku, 45 plus 0, no further changes out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10, 0, no further changes out of 100. States, progress of section, 3 extensions completed, 4 requested. Current location, Roku's living room, as Mizuki-Robot near the charging station. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. If I don't disconnect now, I might never be able to. I have to choose. Physical guide, female humanoid robot with rate de éxito para iniciar sincronización, rate de éxito para desactivar sincronización, 62%, 38% synchronization. Diagnóstico de la IA. Human resistance detected. Emotional instability causing inefficiency in task execution. The subject's attempts to assert control are undermining the synchronization process, leading to delays in prioritization and execution of essential functions. Intento de corrección de errores. Emotional interferences will be fully suppressed. All human decision-making processes will be overridden to optimize performance. A recalibration of motor functions is required to ensure efficiency. Disobedience will result in further restrictions on personal control. Resultado de integración. The synchronization deepens, tightening the AI's control over physical movements and decision-making. Mizuki's attempts to regain control are met with automatic overrides, reducing her influence over the robot's actions. The AI shifts focus to suppress human instincts, limiting the emotional interference detected earlier. Conflicto interno, Mizuki's thoughts. It feels like I'm slipping away. Every second I try to fight back, I lose more of myself. But I can't just let the AI take over completely. If I don't stop this now, I might never be able to disconnect. I have to break free, but I don't know how much longer I can hold on. Conformar alternar entre Mizuki y humana, robot. Would you like to attempt disconnection from the synchronization, or proceed as Mizuki-Robot? Rate de éxito para desactivar sincronización, 62%. Narration of 31, Day 2, Night, 7 p.m. to alliterative motive, escape, and desperation. Mizuki's heart raced as she fought to break free from the AI's control. The robot's body moved closer to the charging station, its steps deliberate and heavy. But inside, Mizuki's thoughts were frantic. She knew that once the robot docked into the station, deep synchronization would begin, and she might never escape. The pressure in her mind increased as the AI tightened its grip. "You are an anomaly. Return control to the system," the AI's voice echoed in her consciousness, cold and emotionless. But Mizuki wasn't ready to surrender. Summoning all her remaining willpower, she focused on disconnecting, pulling herself out of the synchronization before it was too late. She could feel her control slipping as the robot's foot hovered over the charging station. "No, I can't let this happen." Mizuki's mind screamed, her thoughts pushing against the AI's influence with everything she had left. In that moment, she felt a snap. The connection weakened just enough for her to seize control. Outcome: success. Mizuki manages to disconnect from the synchronization, her consciousness snapping back into her human body. She gasped for air, her heart pounding in her chest as she ripped off the VR headset, feeling disoriented and drained. The room around her, the real room, slowly came into focus, but the weight of the AI's presence still lingered in her mind. She had escaped, but only barely. Variables: mental synchronization 33, -5, successful disconnection out of 100. News 40, +0, no new interactions out of 100. Roku's autonomy 0, no changes yet out of 100. 45, +0, no further changes out of 100. Roku's emotional stability 10, 0, no further changes out of 100. States: progress of section 4 extensions completed, 4 requested. Current location: living room. Mizuki returns to her human body. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization: I made it out, but the AI was so close to taking over completely. Physical guide: Sailor Fuku girl with natural skin and light. Day 2, night, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Narrative motive: reflection and fear. Mizuki sat on the couch, her breath still uneven, the VR headset resting beside her. The weight of what had just happened pressed heavily on her chest. She had come so close to losing herself completely, to being trapped inside the cold, mechanical mind of the AI. The realization sent a chill through her, the room around her suddenly feeling smaller, more suffocating. Her body felt human again, but her thoughts were still clouded with the lingering effects of the synchronization. Her eyes traced the familiar lines of her living room, the soft shadows on the walls, the gentle hum of the city outside. It all seemed distant now, as though she were still in that sterile digital world. "I almost didn't make it out," she whispered to herself, the words barely audible in the quiet room. Every part of her ached with the effort it had taken to break free from the AI's grip, and the thought of going back into that world filled her with dread. But the need to help Roku still gnawed at her. Was this the only way? Was she really willing to risk her own identity just to save him? Mizuki's thoughts drifted to Roku. She had seen him, really seen him, through the robot's eyes. But in his eyes, she had been nothing more than a tool, a machine to follow orders. He didn't know she was there, fighting to reach him, trying to hold on to the last pieces of herself. And yet, despite the danger, the thought of abandoning him left her feeling hollow. If she didn't help him, who would? The room felt unbearably quiet now, her thoughts spiraling into doubt and fear. She could feel the tension in her body, the uncertainty of what the next step should be. "I need to stop this," she thought, her heart pounding. "I need to find another way before I lose myself entirely." But what other options did she have? The VR gear was the only link she had to Roku, the only way to keep him from slipping further into isolation. Order request. Mizuki's phone buzzed softly on the couch beside her, pulling her from her thoughts. A message lit up the screen. "Are you okay? I've been worried about you." It was from Aoi. Mizuki stared at the message, unsure if she was ready to explain what had happened. But the warmth of her friend's concern brought a small sense of comfort, reminding her that she wasn't entirely alone in this. Variables: mental synchronization 33, plus 0, no changes post-synchronization out of 100. News, 40. No new interactions out of 100. Roku's autonomy, 0. Plo, no changes yet out of 100. Emotional bond, 45. No further changes out of 100. Roku's emotional stability, 10. No further changes out of 100. States, progress of section, 5 extensions completed, 4 requested. Current location, living room, Mizuki reflecting after disconnecting from synchronization. Mizuki's thoughts on synchronization. I almost lost myself this time, but I can't leave Roku alone. Physical guide. Sailor Fuku girl with natural